Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 302 for June 27th, 2023. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the championship game matchup is set in the USFL. The Detroit Lions unveil a new blue alternate helmet, and tickets to the Chiefs-Dolphins game in Germany this season sold out in 15 minutes. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son Adam.
Yeah, what a crazy day we got. Canada smoke.
Yeah, thank you, Canada.
Oh my God, the air quality quality index.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. The AQI has been off the charts today. It is still foggy outside just from all the Canadian fires and all the smoke blowing down this far south. It's been absolutely nuts.
I walked one of the dogs out to the mailbox earlier to get my newspaper. Yes, I get a newspaper delivered.
You were so old.
A couple days a week. And just going out there and coming back, I came in the house and I was going to do some other running around today, but I didn't feel good after going out for just a few minutes, just to the mailbox and back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible.
Somehow people are going to blame Joe Biden for all this. I'm just saying. I mean, I just can't believe it. Yeah, it looks like it's just been a heavy fog all day, but man, oh man, it's kind of creepy. And I mean, not as bad as like what New York had, I think.
Right, yeah.
Some of those fires, but this is, I mean, it's still like, my lungs were hurting a little bit just from walking around for 2 minutes outside.
I mean, we had some of this several weeks ago,
Yeah.
and then it kind of went away. The wind shifted and it all cleared up. But I think what we've got today is worse than anything I've seen before.
Yeah.
Here in Kalamazoo.
It's absolutely crazy. So be careful out there, folks. And we hope everybody up in Canada is all right too.
Yeah, really.
But and then what else we got today? We have a new Superman, a new Lois. I know you guys don't care about that. What other nerd stuff?
Wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. I felt like I had something else I was going to bring up to you, but I forgot it. So
I'm sure you'll interrupt me at the most inopportune time to bring it up later on.
It is the one thing I'm good at on this show.
Yeah. We come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, all this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, so you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@theworldoffootball, as well as other selected videos, like our history lesson last week on Norma Hunt, the late owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, let's begin today's show with Adam and the World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. We have 15 total games this week across 4 different professional football leagues. What a great time to be a football fan. And I'm already starting to hear the people saying, oh, I can't wait for NFL football to come back. I want football to come back. I'm like, you idiots, it's never left.
Those are NFL snobs. We don't talk to them.
We do, but
we have to if we're related to them.
But we have to deal with them every day. But yeah, I always try to preach the gospel that there is other football out there. You just have to find it and enjoy it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you are a snob if you turn your nose up at it. Anyway, how about CFL football up there in Canada? Week 3. Oh, man, we're already 3 weeks into the CFL season. I can't believe it. And
they're on fire up there.
Oh, boo. Too soon. But, I will say there is a team that's on fire right now that might be the best team in the CFL. And no, it's not the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but the team that handed them a butt whooping this week. The British Columbia Lions defeated those Blue Bombers 30-6. I believe it was 30 unanswered points after the Blue Bombers started off with a 6-0 lead. Both teams were 2-0 going into this game, and then British Columbia ended up going up 16-6 at halftime, obviously scoring the other 2 touchdowns in the second half. British Columbia quarterback Vernon Adams. Is it Adams?
Adams.
Did you miss an S?
I forgot to put the S on there.
Completed 20 passes for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Winnipeg quarterback Zach Collaros completed 15 passes for 191 yards and no touchdowns. This game was in Winnipeg, so that was like extra shocking.
Yeah.
British Columbia was able to get the best of them there.
Go on the road, both teams 2-0, and go into a hostile environment and win like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that sets up a big game, this upcoming weekend for British Columbia, which we'll get to in a minute. Then on Friday night, we saw the Montreal Alouettes defeat the Hamilton Tiger Cats 38-12. What a butt whooping this ended up being. It was the home opener for Hamilton, which makes it even more embarrassing.
Yeah.
And Montreal went up 21-9 at halftime before closing out the game the way they did. Quarterback for Montreal, Cody Fajardo, completed 19 passes for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for a third touchdown. Wide receiver Austin Mack caught 5 passes for 81 yards and a couple of touchdowns, while wide receiver Chandler Worthy returned a punt, 77 yards for a touchdown, and cornerback Wesley Sutton returned an interception, 71 yards for the tutty. Unbelievable.
Some great highlights in this game.
Great highlights.
But this game was not my best highlights of the week. Even though you had 2 long returns like that, there were 2 other games that were even better.
Then on Hamilton's side of the ball, quarterback Matt Schultz completed 25 passes, filling in for the injured Bo Levi Mitchell. So he completed 25 passes for 345 yards. That's not a bad effort there, but no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Wide receiver Tim White caught 7 passes for 143 yards, and DeQuill Williams caught 5 passes for 102 yards. So great statistical day for some of these guys.
Yep.
Obviously, we just talked about him. Quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell was injured last week, and he will miss the next 6 games because of injury. He was the big quarterback acquisition that Tiger Cats had over the offseason.
Yeah.
And I've seen some other clips from this game. I definitely saw a Hamilton player and a Montreal player going to shake hands, and then a Hamilton player just shoving the other dude. So there was a little bit of bad blood during that game.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was this game. It probably was, but yeah, in one of the games they were practically coming to blows. Several players during the pregame warm-ups, and it just seemed so out of character.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the slow motion replay of a guy going acting like he was going to go shake the guy's hand, and then just avoiding the handshake and then shoving the other player was just absolutely bonkers. I was like, this is Canadian football. I've never seen this before.
Yep.
All right, then on Saturday, the Saskatchewan Roughriders defeated the Calgary Stampeders in a thrilling game, 29-26. This game went to overtime. Saskatchewan quarterback Trevor Harris completed 20 passes for 273 yards and a touchdown, while running back Jamar Morrow ran the ball 22 times for 133 yards. For Calgary, quarterback Jake Mayer completed 18 passes for 288 yards, a touchdown, but he did throw 3 interceptions. He also ran for an additional touchdown, so that takes a little bit of the sting off those interceptions. And then wide receiver Malik Henry caught 4 passes for 92 yards and a touchdown. What are your thoughts on this game?
I saw a graphic saying that Malik Henry was going to be out for a number of games with an injury also. And there was another guy that's out for the entire season. I don't think it was Malik Henry. It was another guy that he's going to be missing the rest of the season. So there's some serious injuries going on right now. But yeah, the highlights of this game were the best of the week, in my opinion. When it went into overtime, it's a little weird. I'm not exactly sure how their overtime works, but each team had like 2 possessions. I don't know if they play. They don't play a full overtime period, but to me it looked like 2 overtimes because they kind of lined up. They had their shot, and then one team scored, the other team scored.
Kind of like American college style almost.
Kind of. And then
I can't remember the last time I watched a Canadian overtime game.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. But then the first team got the ball again, and they scored again, and then the other team got the ball back, and they failed to score, and so the game was over at that point.
Somewhere out there's a Canadian football fan screaming into his car radio like, "No, you idiots from Michigan! That's not how our overtime works."
Oh, you hosers! What are you talking about?
Stinking Michigan hosers!
Read a book. But yeah, the highlights didn't make it totally clear, and I didn't see the game live, so I wasn't.
But still, a 29-26 overtime thriller. I mean, shoot, I saw highlights from the end of the game, like the last score, the last preventing them from scoring play. I think it was a field goal that ended up winning it, right?
Yes.
So I saw some of the stuff that led up to that on Twitter, but I digress. Anyway, congratulations, Rough Rider Nation. And finally on Sunday, the Toronto Argonauts, the defending Grey Cup champions. And by the way, we got some sweet, sweet Toronto Argonaut swag this week. You got us a couple of replica championship rings.
Yeah, what happened was I
got your ring on. I got my ring on. No. We could put our rings together like the Wonder Twins, and with our powers combined,
have a good podcast? I don't
Form-
think that's going to happen.
Form of man at a buffet station. Shape of
A large plate.
There you go. See, we could easily be the Wonder Twins with our Toronto Argonaut Grey Cup rings.
No, because we tried to go to a game last year. I'm on their email list, and
Oh.
so I got an email saying that if you went to the
They
home,
apologize for us having a crappy experience and sent us authentic championship
No.
rings.
But they said that there was an email that came out that said everybody that went to their home opener last week was going to the first 10,000 fans were going to get replica Grey Cup championship rings for the Argonauts, and I was so excited thinking, oh, maybe we should go to that game, but it was a Sunday night at 7:00. You had to
Yeah.
work the next day, and didn't have a whole lot of time to make that trip, so I didn't. But then a few days later, I get another email saying, you can order these things for, I think, $25 a piece or something like that. I said, boom,
Yeah.
send it.
And
Two of them.
I think it's a great little product. I mean,
Yeah.
I was shocked because like when I heard they were handing them out, I figured it'd be some cheap plasticky, not kind of knockoff. But we got these ones in the mail.
They're solid.
They're solid. I won't say they're legit because obviously they're not real diamonds or nothing, but
Right.
they look good. They're made of metal at
Yeah.
least. Like I thought it was really decent quality for
Yeah,
a $25
it's-
in Canadian. So how much was that
I
American?
don't know. But it's a very small ring because I
Yeah.
can barely get it on my ring finger.
I got it on my pinky finger. Like
But still, just to have it, it's got a nice
Yeah.
little display thing that you put it
Yeah.
on, and it says, Grey Cup, Toronto
Right.
Argonauts and whatnot. I tried to get a picture of it and post it online, but I kept getting shadows on it, and it didn't come out very good. So
well, sounds
maybe
like
you
you
can
just
do
need to do a
that.
better job.
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of needs to do a better job, how about the Edmonton Elks falling to the Toronto Argonauts 43-31? The Argonauts really put a beating on the Elks hung in there for a lot of this game, but man, the Argos just ran away with this one. Quarterback for Toronto, Chad Kelly, completed 13 passes for 264 yards. That's a heck of an average there. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, while running back A.J. Olette ran the ball 18 times for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. Edmonton quarterbacks Taylor Cornelius and Jared Doge, or Daggy?
Daggy. Yeah, see, I put that phonetically because
Oh,
how do you get Daggy out of Doege? It must be French. I don't know.
maybe it is, but
when I heard him pronounce it, I said, that's not how.
yeah.
I would
Jared
say.
Daggy combined to complete 23 passes for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Steven Dunbar caught 8 passes for the Elks for 98 yards. On bye this week, the Ottawa Red Blacks. But what were your thoughts on that Toronto game?
Second best highlights of the week. If nothing else, folks, go to the CFL website. Check out the 2023 game highlights. It's from a drop-down menu on top. And check out the Saskatchewan-Calgary game and the Toronto-Edmonton game. There were so many tipped passes, fumbles, interceptions returned, fumble returns for touchdowns. It's so many crazy things in both of these games. It was just wild. The intensity in both these games was really up there. So yeah, check out those highlights. They're only like 9 minutes long or whatever.
They're great. They always do a great
They
job.
do a great job of packaging these things up. And yes, those were some great highlights from those last 2 games, the Saturday and Sunday game.
And I did mention earlier, the British Columbia Lions will be playing the Toronto Argonauts this upcoming weekend. Matchup of unbeaten teams. The team, I think right now, that's the hot team in the league, the British Columbia Lions. And then your defending champions going up against each other. That should be a great game this weekend. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Yep.
All right, and then we are going to move on to the USFL, who started its 2023 playoffs this weekend, starting with Saturday night in the Northern Division Championship game, which saw the Pittsburgh Maulers defeat our beloved Michigan Panthers 31-27 in overtime. How about that?
Yeah.
Panthers kicker Cole Murphy kicked a 47-yard field goal as time expired in regulation just to send the game to overtime at 27 apiece. But Michigan failed on two two-point conversion tries, while Pittsburgh made their 2 attempts. So it was like a best of 3 kind of.
Yeah, what they do is they give each team 3 attempts at a 2-point conversion, and at the end of those, whoever's up by 4 points wins the game. But since Pittsburgh made their 2-point conversions and Michigan didn't make their 3, they didn't have to do the third try.
Yeah,
that was the end of the game.
Yeah, so tough way to end your season though.
Yeah.
If you're the Panthers. Mauler's quarterback Troy Williams completed 23 passes for 203 yards. Panthers quarterback E.J. Perry completed 23 passes for 370 yards. And he also got 2 touchdowns out of that. He also ran the ball 7 times for 22 yards and an additional touchdown on top of that. So E.J. Perry coming alive for the Panthers the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wide receiver Trey Quinn caught 5 passes for 104 yards for the Panthers. That included a 55-yard touchdown, while wide receiver Marcus Sims caught 3 passes for 87 yards. That included a 72-yard touchdown, which was a heck of a play for
Those
the
were
Panthers.
the 2 big highlights for the Panthers.
But, I mean, congratulations to the Pittsburgh Mauler, your Northern Division champs in the USFL. You know, they went 4-6 during the season. Last year, they only won 1 game. They were the worst team in the league technically last year. They even lost to the Panthers to end the season last year. So a little bit of a retribution this year where they got in the playoffs, they beat the Panthers, and now they are going to be going to the championship game. And who will they be playing? Well, that was determined on Sunday as the Birmingham Stallions defeated the New Orleans Breakers 47-22. Stallions quarterback Alex Magoo completed 21 passes for 310 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 8 times for 84 yards and a 5th touchdown on top of that. Al Bundy would be jealous.
It was the Magoo show.
Yeah, Magoo has been a heck of a player for them this year.
Oh, he really came alive in that game last week, though.
He really took that one over. And then wide receiver Davion Davis caught 5 passes for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Breakers quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 26 passes for 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And that sets up our championship game this Saturday night in Canton, Ohio at 8 o'clock as the 5-6 Pittsburgh Maulers will take on the defending champion Birmingham Stallions at 9-2. What a game this could end up being. Do you smell an upset?
I don't think so. I see. I think this game is going to be on NBC, so it'll be easy for everybody to find this game.
Oh, yeah. 8 o'clock, NBC.
But no, if you have a chance to go to this game, go. I mean, we went last year. Man, it was so much fun.
I think they put on a great show for the championship game. I hope this is the last time they have to do, teams playing in all these bubble cities or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they finally next year expand and everybody gets their home market team. I think that's something this league's got to start getting to if they want to keep sustaining. But having finally been to Canton, seeing the last championship game, I only expect good things out of it there. If you've never been to the Hall of Fame, use it as an excuse.
Yep.
And it's a holiday weekend, so go do that. Check out the game. Get your football on.
Yeah,
I highly recommend.
Spend several hours at the Hall of Fame and then get in line and go up the hill to the stadium. And I think we paid $20 a piece for tickets last year. I think I saw they're $25 this year.
And I don't think there's a bad seat in that place. So.
It didn't say, from what I read, I didn't see if they were open seating like it was last year, where you could sit anywhere as you want once you got in. But regardless, $25 for a championship game, and the weather was so beautiful last year.
It was great last year.
Just an awesome time. I was watching the Pittsburgh Maulers Michigan Panthers game, and I watched most of it until with 5 minutes left to go in the game, and I fell asleep.
Of course you did.
And I woke up just in time to see the last play of the game, where Michigan had their last second two-point conversion attempt, and the ball got knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Game over with. So. Luckily, I was able to rewind, the TV and watch the overtime period to see what
if this was back in the old days, you would never been able to rewind.
Nope, I'd have to wait for the Howard Cosell on the Monday Night Football highlights to know what happened in all these other games. But no, it was a good game. Michigan played well, but just not quite enough to beat the Panthers or the Maulers this time.
All right, and then we're going to move on to Week 15 in the Indoor Football League, starting on Friday night, which saw the Sioux Falls Storm defeat the Green Bay Blizzard 47-45. Then on Saturday, you had a sextuple header. I believe that's 6 games. The Massachusetts Pirates started off by defeating the Tulsa Oilers 43-24, helping the Pirates clinch a playoff spot. The Quad City Steamwheelers then defeated the Iowa Barnstormers 63-35 in a rematch of last week's game.
Yeah, where Iowa won last week.
Yeah, where Iowa won big last week. Then the Frisco Fighters defeated the Bay Area Panthers 45-35. But I do believe that the Bay Area Panthers still were able to clinch a playoff spot because of the law.
I think they might have clinched last week. I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but they clinched the spot.
They've got the best record in the West.
Yeah. So, or they did.
And I know Frisco clinched last week.
Frisco clinched. I read a thing that said the Bay Area Panthers clinched as well because they got the second best record.
Right. Yeah.
Even after the loss. Then the Duke City Gladiators defeated the Vegas Nighthawks 53-30. The Tucson Sugar Skulls defeated the defending champion Northern Arizona Wranglers 42-28. And then the Arizona Rattlers defeated the San Diego Strike Force 57-48 to give the Rattlers a playoff clinching spot. And as we go down the standings real quick, in the East, it's the Frisco Fighters at 11-2, the Massachusetts Pirates at 9-3, the Quad City Steamwheelers at 8-5, Sioux Falls Storm at 7-5, the Green Bay Blizzard at 6-6, the Iowa Barnstormers at 3-10, and the Tulsa Oilers at 1-12. In the West, we just talked about them. They clinched the spot. The Arizona Rattlers at 9-4, the Bay Area Panthers at 8-5, the Tucson Sugar Skulls at 7-5, the Northern Arizona Wranglers at 6-7, the San Diego Strike Force at 5-8, along with the Duke City Gladiators, and then the Vegas Nighthawks at 4-9 round out the West Division. All right, we're going to move on real quick over to the National Arena League. There were 2 games this past weekend. The first game on Saturday saw the San Antonio Gunslingers defeat the West Texas Warbirds 69-55. And then on Monday night, we had the Jacksonville Sharks defeat the Carolina Cobras in a shootout 61-52. Then on bye this week, the Orlando Predators. And then we found out that the Fayetteville Mustangs are shutting down for the remainder of the season due to financial troubles.
Yeah, it's that came out of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had all these troubles with the Albany Empire all season long, but then all of a sudden, I see this this statement from the team thanking the fans for their support and saying they just couldn't afford to continue with the rest of the season. So yeah, that's a shame. 2 teams,
Yeah.
this season that have shut down. And I saw a graphic somebody posted that the Columbus Lions that are part of the AIFA, they were supposed to be in the NAL this year, and then they backed out at the last minute or something and went to this other league. So they're counting it as 3 teams that have fallen by the wayside
Yeah.
in the National Arena League. Should have had 8 teams this year and down to 5 right now.
Yeah, so we'll quickly go through the standings, and maybe we got some NAL stuff I'm sure we'll talk about later on.
Yep.
But your standings in the National Arena League: the San Antonio Gunslingers at 8-1, the Jacksonville Sharks at 7-2, the Carolina Cobras at 5-4, the Orlando Predators at 3-5, and then the Texas Warbirds at 2-8. Before being kicked out of the league, the Albany Empire were 1-6, and then the Fayetteville Mustangs were 4-4. So
yeah, they were in 4th place. They're probably going to be in the playoffs, and just
so now who knows how that'll affect their playoffs? They just were rescheduling their schedule for the last couple weeks of the season, and then this happened. So
yeah.
what a mess out there. But that'll do it for this week's World of Football scoreboard.
All right, we're going to move on to some NFL news. And the first item here, some Buffalo Bills season ticket holders could be out when the new stadium is built. The Bills currently have 63,000 season ticket holders at their current stadium, which has a capacity of 71,608. Their new stadium will have around 60,000 seats. So 3,000 people aren't going to be getting season tickets, and probably a lot more than that too.
Yeah, they'll probably make that a big number.
And for the first time, they're instituting that stupid personal site license thing where you have to pay a big fee for the privilege of buying season tickets. So it's like a one-time charge that they charge you just to be a season ticket holder, which I think is stupid. But they're going to do that. And no word yet on how much that's actually going to cost them. So I think some season ticket holders may say, you know what? Yeah, I've been a season ticket holder here for so many years. I'm not paying a big fee to remain a season ticket holder. I'll get tickets when I can. But a 60,000 seat stadium, and they've got 63,000 season ticket holders right now. I mean, you can't have the entire stadium filled with season ticket holders. You've got to have some seats, for people that want to come to games that aren't season ticket holders. So
visiting fans.
Yeah, this they may be down to like 50,000 season ticket holders. That could be 13,000 people that were season ticket holders and now they're on the outside.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, why they didn't just have a bigger stadium built, who knows?
Well, like when Detroit went from the Silverdome, which was 80,000 seats, to the Ford Field, that was 65,000 seats.
But they didn't have this many season ticket holders.
True.
That.
But back in the heyday, they were packing that Silverdome with 80,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to some really packed games, and the atmosphere was something else. But I think they just felt like when you have a bad team for many years, people aren't showing up to the game. So 80,000 seats and you only are bringing in 50,000, that's 30,000 empty seats. It looks bad on
It
TV,
does.
and you're not making the revenue
Who,
you're
who knows?
expecting.
Is this a weather thing with Buffalo? Like they get so much bad weather, maybe all the fans don't usually show up anyway. So
No, those fans will show up.
I mean, I
They
know a
they
lot of
love
them
the
do.
cold, they love the snow. That's their home field advantage. Personally, I think they need a dome stadium, but I don't think that's ever going to happen because they
Probably
they
not.
like being outdoors.
They
But
like being
whatever.
outdoors. Yep.
So yeah, it's sad to think that you've been a season ticket holder for so long, and now all of a sudden, pay us big bucks to retain that, or we'll find somebody else that will.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure they'll find people who'll pay it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But it's just a matter of will you find 10,000 people who won't want to pay it? That's the other question.
yeah. I don't know. That's a interesting story to keep an eye on as the months roll by. What I think their stadium is supposed to be done in 2 years or
Probably
3 years.
3.
I don't
I
remember.
forget the timetable.
Yeah. All right, another story that came out this week. The Detroit Lions have been teasing this for a while, but they unveiled an alternate blue helmet to go along with their all gray uniforms. I'm not a fan, but you don't think it's that bad.
I think it's great. I know the blue is a little more of a matte blue, which I wasn't expecting,
All right.
but I think it's great. I think it just doesn't pair well with their uniform, but apparently the way the NFL rules are, even though it's an alternate helmet, which you would think they could mix and match with any uniform, apparently due to NFL rules, it can only be paired with an alternate uniform.
Hmm.
So it's going to go with the gray uniform, and so
Yeah.
they didn't want to risk pairing it up with the throwbacks.
Hmm.
They didn't want to risk pairing it with the all blues, or which I don't get. Why you can't just pair that helmet with whatever combo you want, but it's the NFL, and they got dumb rules. Like,
Yeah.
if your socks have to be so high, of course they're going to have rules about
Or you will get fined.
what helmets you can wear with what uniforms, which is stupid. That's why I love Madden, where you can mix and match every layer of uniform you want. Mix the helmet with different socks and jersey and pants. I love it. But I think it looks great. I know a lot of people were confused, like, why did the Lions go to this crappy logo? It looks like a very thin, like a kid drew this lion, and it's like nobody knew. Like national writers didn't know where this logo came
They
from.
don't know the history of that logo.
Which gets me, like a national writer saying this new logo looks terrible. Like, why would they come up with this logo? It's like
Right.
it's literally their 1950s logo.
Yeah.
If you had Google, which I assume you do, you could have easily done a Google search and found this logo in no time. So yeah, we got a great big poster of it hanging up in here.
I love that. I love that logo.
Yep.
We've got a hat with that logo on it. I'll get that logo on anything. But I just think on this helmet,
what about a blue mini helmet? I think it looks great.
I don't like this new helmet. I think it's terrible. I'm not crazy about
You'll
the
warm
color.
up to it.
I think because you see how long those horizontal bars are for the gray or the silver and the Honolulu
on
blue.
the poster. Yeah.
They had to really shorten that up to put the whole thing. So it's a mutant version of that logo because of the way the bars are. But I don't like it. I don't like the gray uniforms either. They look
Yeah.
like onesies
I'll
on
give you
a
that.
little kid. So and when are they going to wear that? The
Hmm.
game that we're at, the Monday night game against the Oakland Raiders, is when they're going to debut that uniform. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm going to be up in the third deck and I won't be able to see it very well.
Or you'll see it
Gosh,
on the big jumbotron though.
Well, yeah.
But I think that's fine. I think it's great. I like the helmet themselves. Like I said, it doesn't go with the uniform, but I believe that the Lions are going to have a uniform change next year. So I wonder if they'll have a new alternate uniform that will go a little bit more with that alternate helmet. Or maybe this helmet will be a one and done for this year. Who knows?
Well, chances are, whatever they come up with next year, I probably won't like it either.
You probably won't. But I don't think it's
I
that
hate
bad.
change, and I can't
this
wait to
see that
me the
mini
wrong
helmet
way.
sitting on that shelf next to the current helmet. I can't wait.
That helmet just rubs me the wrong way. I can't get over it. Don't like it. All right, let's move on before I get too upset. Tickets to you just brought this to my attention today. Tickets to the Chiefs-Dolphins game that's going to be played in Frankfurt, Germany on November 5th this season went on sale today, and they sold out in 15 minutes. According to another graphic you sent me, 1.4 million people tried going online to get tickets for this particular game. In a stadium, Frankfurt Stadium, I think it's Deutsche Bank Stadium in Frankfurt, has a capacity of 42,200. So 1.4 million trying to get 42,000 tickets.
That would mean that in the span of us recording the podcast, as of right now, as we're about to hit the 30-minute mark, that means that 2.8 million fans could have bought double the tickets to 2 Germany football games right now. I I couldn't believe it. When I read this, I was like, for a Chiefs-Dolphins game? I mean, I get it. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I think that's a big draw. But as the Dolphins as the opponent, I guess like any NFL game overseas would be probably near sold out. But
Well, I've
15 minutes?
Yeah, that is incredible. But I've always said, even back when they had NFL Europe and they had, several teams, 5 out of 6 teams were in Germany because there are a lot of American military bases in Germany. So you've got a lot of American fans stationed over there that would love to go to an NFL game. They don't care who it is. It may not be their teams playing, but to see an NFL game uh, in Germany, you've been over there for a year, maybe two,
Nah.
that's going to be awesome for them. So I think maybe that's could be where a lot of the fans are coming from, are these American soldiers that are stationed in
Maybe,
Germany.
maybe. But I also wonder if football that big over in Germany?
Well, they've got a European league where they took a lot of the names from the old NFL Europe, like the Berlin Thunder and the Frankfurt Galaxy, and they're using their names in a football league over there. So it's growing everywhere. It's growing in Mexico, it's growing in Europe. So yeah, the time is right for these games overseas.
Better watch your back, European football, aka we call it soccer, but you call it football. Watch
Yeah,
yourselves.
we're gunning for you. All right, let's see some CFL news. The Winnipeg Winnipeg Blue Bombers announced that former kicker Justin Medlock will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. He will be honored during the final home game of this regular season on Saturday, October 21st, in a game against the Edmonton Elks. Medlock played 9 seasons in the CFL with Toronto, Edmonton, Hamilton, and Winnipeg. In his 4 seasons with the Blue Bombers, 2016 through 19, he scored 802 points, and he had a total of 1,535 points in his CFL career, ranking him 15th in CFL history. He won a Grey Cup with the Bombers in 2019, which was his last season before he retired. Medlock was named the CFL's most outstanding special teams player in 2016, his first year in Winnipeg. And uh, that season, he kicked 60 field goals out of 68. Just incredible.
Made 60 out of
Yeah.
68 field goals. That's
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, and he also played briefly in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs early in his career. So congratulations to him. I saw that today, and we've talked about other players in the NFL going to the Ring of Honor or whatever, but I just thought this was kind of impressive. You don't often put a kicker on your Wall of Fame or your Hall of Fame for a team, but they did this guy, and I'd say that's pretty well deserved for him. Okay, National Arena League news. We've already told you about Fayetteville calling it quits, but the drama in Albany continues. The final game checks for the team's final game against the Orlando Predators on June 9th have been pulled from their bank accounts, of the Albany Empire players and coaches. And this is according to Antonio Brown's attorney. Lawsuits are now being looked at. The team players and coaches want to sue the team over this, but according to Brown's attorney, they are accused of stealing equipment and jerseys from the locker room, and that's why the checks were pulled back. I read one thing that said there was one helmet left in the locker room, and all the jerseys were gone. So I guess they were pretty upset about that. And I saw a video of the manager of the arena where they are playing in downtown Albany. He's very confident that Albany will have some form of arena football team next year playing in the same stadium. So I'm assuming that an arena football franchise will go there, possibly rename the Albany Firebirds
Well, let's not get ahead of
with
ourselves.
new ownership.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Randy.
That's just my guess or my assumption. But yeah, so the National Arena League, like I said before, is they still have 5 weeks to play in their season,
I can't believe that.
and they've got 5 teams left. So there's going to be 2 games every week with one team on bye.
Man, oh man.
And they just released that schedule based on the fact that Fayetteville's not there anymore.
What a mess.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for them.
Does that do you think this just adds to the idea now that maybe some of these National Arena League teams like your Jacksonville Sharks,
Right.
Orlando Predators,
Yep.
and at least the ones that were former arena teams,
Carolina Cobras.
Carolina Cobras, even though they weren't technically, I think they were named after the Arena League team, but they weren't that same team that moved to this league. But
Could be.
I think this adds some credence to. I think these teams jump ship. I think the NAL dissolves after this year,
Could be.
especially with the Nets. There was a 1-year thing with the Nets.
Right.
I think they dissolve, and then the Arena Football League just picks up the pieces.
Yep.
Arena League brings back the Nets.
Yep.
And that's it. Whether or not an Albany team gets brought back, I think, is debatable now after Antonio Brown's shenanigans.
Yeah.
I would love to see that town have a team.
Oh yeah.
Great
fan base.
Great fan base. I had a great time when we went in that game there. But anywhere Antonio Brown is, I'm sorry, you gotta go the opposite direction.
Yeah, he's just ruined that whole team. A great team, 2 straight titles over the last 2 years.
What else?
And of course, the 4 months he ran it into the ground and fired just about everybody and took all their money.
Every time we think we're done with the story, it just something else comes out.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd hear anymore because after we heard about the checks being pulled back, there was nothing from him. Even after the team was kicked out of the NAL, you heard nothing from Antonio Brown. No quotes. Nobody was able to get a hold of him to get his thoughts on everything that was going on or tell his side of the story. Nothing until his attorney came out and said, "Yeah, we pulled their checks because they stole a bunch of stuff from us." So I don't know.
What a mess.
This is a story that I think we should have run last week or week before. You brought
this came out like last week as we were about to record.
Yeah, and I hadn't even really thought about this, but you were on top of this. There will be no third season of fan-controlled football this year. I guess they were supposed to start in May, from what I read, but that kind of came and went, and there was nothing there. Owners of the league say they are low on cash, and they're looking to sell franchises in order to return in 2024. So they're still looking to have a third season next year. They also want to license their software that allows fans to make real-time inputs on plays during games, because they said they've had some NFL teams that were interested in possibly getting their hands on that software or using it or whatever. So it's like, oh, maybe we should license this thing before somebody else decides to do something even better. So they're just calling a halt to everything right now while they get all their ducks in a row and maybe come back next year. Now, wasn't Marshawn Lynch one of the owners?
Marshawn Lynch was Richard Sherman.
Okay.
I know Richard Sherman was. I can't remember if Marshawn was or not. I know he definitely came on and commentated during a game, which was great. But...
Yeah, and they're both on Stars on Mars right now.
Yeah, well... because Marshawn Lynch owned the Beasts or whatever they were called. So I don't know. I like the idea of this league. We checked it out for their first season, but I never paid attention to season 2.
Yeah, the first year it was like a whole new novelty thing, and it was on that Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch,
which I'd never even heard of, but you found it, and we watched some games together. And then the second year, you weren't even that interested in it anymore. I was only watching to see Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, and what was it, Terrell Owens? Didn't he play in there?
Yep, for a couple of games towards the end of the season.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it was a great concept. I just don't like the way the team names came about. I think they're, I don't know, not really my thing. But who knows? Maybe they can come back, dust it off, tweak it a little bit, and make a better product out of it. Because I think the idea of fans being able to make calls and stuff is actually a fun gimmick to make a league, based around. So we'll see what happens if they ever get version 3.0 off the ground.
Yeah. All right, the last story is one I don't know if you heard this whole story or not, but
you were telling me about it.
I came across this today. A 9-year-old football player in Snoop Dogg's youth football league out there in Los Angeles has signed a name, image, and likeness deal with a sports agency. 9-year-old kid. The kid's name is Gailey Wadood Jr. And he signed a deal worth 6 figures with a company called Family for Life. His father, Gailey Wadood Sr., is an employee of the Los Angeles Rams football team. I don't know what capacity. But Family for Life represents players from NFL teams such as the New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, and the New York Giants. Can a 9-year-old kid actually sign his own $100,000 contract, or is it the parents that are?
It sounds more like
this?
Dad was like, "Let's keep the money rolling."
Yeah. So this is another thing that we'll have to keep an eye on. The whole thing with the name, image, and likeness in college kind of, it's getting to be old hat now. Nobody even knows what's going on, but
Yeah, because
some
that thing
players
just
are
came out
making a lot
today
of money.
about what was it? The NCAA saying, well, if even if your state's got some of these NIL rules, well, if you don't follow our rules about it, you could still get in trouble for it.
Hmm.
Like, yeah,
I
that was the
didn't see that article.
yeah, that was gosh, I wish was it? I saw it earlier today. It was like one of those push notifications.
Mhm.
Yeah, right here, little push notification. I have not read the article. I'll give that full disclaimer, but it does say NCAA says schools can be punished for violating its NIL regulations, even if schools are in compliance with state laws. So that sounds a
Interesting.
little messy to me. Like,
Yeah. Well, every state's probably got a little bit different take on the whole NIL thing. But yeah, if
yeah,
the NCAA has their rules, I guess that's who you should be following. But
yeah,
I didn't never thought about that.
yeah. So who knows? We figured this NIL thing would be a mess for a few years.
Yeah.
It'd take them a while to figure it
Yep.
out. But yeah,
Exactly.
9-year-old kids. Good
Yeah.
lord.
$100,000. Well, that's more than you and I got right now.
Man, I'm 3 times this kid's age.
Yeah.
Almost 4 times his
Well,
age.
you can't run a football to save your life, so I
Hey,
guess.
whoa, whoa, shows what little you know.
All right, let's move on. Today's birthdays, June 27th, linebacker Doug Buffone, born on this date in 1944. He died in 2015 at the age of 77. He played his college football at Louisville, and he was selected in the 4th round of the 1966 NFL Draft by the Chicago Bears. He was also selected in the 8th round of the 1966 American Football League Draft by the San Diego Chargers. He played 14 NFL seasons, all with the Bears from 1966 to 1979. Boy, that was a name back in the 60s and 70s. Doug Buffone, linebacker with the Bears. He was right up there with um, oh shoot, who's their other big linebacker in Chicago?
Urlacher?
Urlacher and the guy before him. The guy's in the Hall of Fame.
Buckus?
Mudkis, yes. I was could see his face. I couldn't think of his name, but yeah, he was really really good. Doug Buffone. All right, we do have a couple of obituaries today. This is where we take a moment to honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first obituary is that of Darren
The heck was
Diedrich.
that?
I don't know. Darren Diedrich, who was a running back in the NFL and the Canadian Football League. He has passed away at the young age of 44. Diedrich played college football at Nebraska and was selected in the 3rd round of the 2002 CFL draft by the Edmonton Eskimos. He signed as a free agent with the NFL's Washington Redskins and played 1 season for the team in 2004. He also played for the Ryan Fire of NFL Europe in 2005 before signing with Edmonton, where he played in 2005 and 2006. Diedrich was traded to the Montreal Alouettes during the 2006 season. He remained with the team through 2013, winning back-to-back Grey Cup titles in 2009 and 2010. He was then traded to the Hamilton Tiger Cats during the 2013 season and finished his playing career back in Montreal in 2014. After that, he spent some time as the strength and conditioning coach with the Toronto Argonauts. He had some sort of a lymphoma condition. There's some name that was like a foot and a half long, and he had to go through chemotherapy and went into remission. And it didn't say, what the cause of his death was, whether it was related to that or not. But he did have some sort of lymphoma condition, and was doing a lot of treatments for that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, moving on to our second obituary, we have Bryson Manor, a defensive end in the NFL for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 70. Manor played college football at Arkansas and was selected in the 15th round of the 1975 NFL Draft by the New York Jets, but did not make the team. He then signed with the Denver Broncos and played there from 1977 to 1984. He was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during the 1984 season, where he finished his playing career.
The next obituary is that of Charlie Scales, a halfback in the NFL and the Canadian Football League, has passed away at the age of 85. Scales played college football at Indiana. He signed as a free agent with the Pittsburgh Steelers and played for the team in 1960 and 1961. He was then traded to the Cleveland Browns, where he played from 1962 to 1965. He won an NFL title with the Browns in 1964. Scales was traded to the expansion Atlanta Falcons just before the 1966 season and played for the team for one season. In 1967, he finished his playing career with the CFL's Montreal Alouettes.
And our final obituary this week is that of Clark Haggans, a linebacker in the NFL for 13 seasons. Did I say his name wrong?
Yes, I would have said Haggins, and I heard one YouTube thing that pronounced it that way, but I found two others that pronounced it Haggans.
It is Haggans. Okay, I was
Sorry.
going to almost say Haggans, but all right. Clark Haggans, a linebacker in the NFL for 13 seasons, has passed away at the age of 46. Haggans played college football at Colorado State and was selected in the 5th round of the 2000 NFL Draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played in Pittsburgh from 2000 to 2007 and won Super Bowl 40 as a member of the team. He was also playing with the Arizona Cardinals from 2008 to 2011 and finished his playing career with the San Francisco 49ers in 2012. And that does it for our obituaries.
Yeah, again, this guy's 46 years old. There was no word on the cause of his death, so I don't know what was going on. But here this week you had a 44-year-old guy and a 46-year-old guy passing away, and it's just sad to see somebody, to me, in the prime of their life pass away like that. Okay, we're going to mention this week's history lesson, which is exclusively on our YouTube channel. And that is the story of two teams that won league titles and then left town. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I'm going to give you a hint. One was in the NFL, and the other was in the American Football League.
Oh.
So, yeah, check that out. That'll be up in a day or two.
That'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wednesday, every Wednesday.
We recorded 3 of them over the weekend, and yeah, that was a lot. We've done 2 in a weekend before. I've got the script all read, and we just set up a camera and I recorded, and you tell me, nope, that was no good. Start over again, whatever. But
As a good producer does, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, we did 3 of them over the weekend, so we're good for a couple of weeks now. But yeah,
Because you got some traveling you got to do.
Yeah, yep.
You're gonna be out of town a few weeks.
Going to Kentucky one weekend and Ohio another weekend. So yeah, we're gonna be hitting the road and just enjoying visiting friends and going to the Air Force Museum in Dayton. So, all right, upcoming events calendar. This Saturday, July 1st, USFL Championship game in Canton, Ohio. Birmingham Stallions versus the Pittsburgh Maulers.
I assume we both got the Stallions in this game?
Yeah, it looks like it to me, but upsets are the name of the game. So
I mean, we did see underdog Arlington Renegades win the XFL championship, so part of me almost wants to put money down on the Pittsburgh Maulers to take this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to put down any money, but
you wouldn't put down money.
I always root for the underdog, so I guess I'm rooting for Pittsburgh, but I got a feeling Birmingham is going to walk away with this one. 2 years in a row, and a USFL champions. Okay, Thursday, August 3rd, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Cleveland Browns versus the New York Jets. Didn't you say there was a rumor about the Jets going on out there?
There's a lot of talk and scuttlebutt on the interwebs today about the Jets are bracing to be the Hard Knocks selection. While they have been adamantly against being on Hard Knocks, it does sound like
they're going to be voluntold.
Voluntold that you're up, and that means we got to deal with Aaron Rodgers on our TV screens.
The cameras will arrive on Friday.
Yeah,
and well, you also sent me a thing today about the Lions training camp schedule is out also. And I read you got to get a ticket ahead of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that part.
For the first time, they'll have a link. You can't get a ticket until, I think, July 19th. You go online and you request a ticket, and so that way they'll know how many people are coming on a certain day or whatever. But I don't think that'll be a good thing or a big thing. I think you're limited to four tickets. One person can order 4 tickets. So we'll see. But yeah, we're going to make our annual trip to the Lions training camp this year. Okay, yeah, that was August 3rd, Hall of Fame game. Tuesday, August 15th is going to be our 6th anniversary show. Always fun to do those because we go back and I'll pull a lot of highlights. I've got some good ones this year. Audio highlights from some of our shows, some mistakes and some cute things that we did that were kind of fun. Saturday, August 26th, the FBS College Football Week 0, highlighted by Navy at Navy versus Notre Dame in Dublin, Ireland, as well. Ireland.
You have been off your game all day. I'm just saying.
Well, I started out okay, and now I'm kind of running out of steam.
There's a lady walking down the street right now in this weather. What are you doing, you crazy old lady? Goodness
she walking
gracious.
a dog, or is it
She's
just
by herself, just huffing it. Man, oh man, I've seen a bike rider. I've seen a person walking. It's literally smoky out there, guys.
Yeah.
Like, what are people doing?
Smoky hazy? And they said that the smoke is really bad
Man,
for your
it's
lungs if you've got any kind of
man, oh man.
pre-existing condition. I just left the house that one time this morning, and that's it. I haven't done anything else. But yeah, week 0, Notre Dame versus Navy in Dublin, Ireland, as well as 6 other games that particular weekend. And,
Oh my God, the snoke finally got him. Well, it looks like it's my podcast now, and I guess I'll finish it out. Let's see. Then on Thursday, September 7th, to finish out our upcoming events calendar, the NFL regular season will begin with the Detroit Lions going to Kansas City to take on the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, where I will be watching that game from a cornfield in Upper Michigan.
I'll be at home watching it on my
sure
couch.
you will. I'm actually hoping for a fun story about some dude had a TV in the back of his truck, or I got invited to a stranger's RV and we kicked back a few brewskis and watched the game on his satellite TV or her satellite TV. I'm just throwing that out there. But should be a fun time, one way or the other for me.
Yeah.
And that is it for our upcoming events calendar.
All right. Anything else before we call this a show?
I don't know. Sounds like you got some problems over there. So
Yeah,
let's wrap this thing up.
Okay. Well, I'm still able to talk. That's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football,
You're almost there.
then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com
Oh my God.
for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
I think you unintentionally just added yourself to your own blooper reel.
Oh my God.
All right. Sit back and take a breather. You might also want to put a tissue up to your neck. You got like a little blood right there. I don't know if you had like a scab or something, but Randy's bleeding on the podcast, everybody. And I guess for his last show, I guess I'll finish it out. You can like the World of Football on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo. You can also follow us on Twitter. The address there is at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Stitcher for not much longer, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast to hear us in any device that you have playing directly into your ear holes. You can also find our full audio version of the podcast on our YouTube channel, which is, if you just go to the search bar in the YouTube, just go to The World of Football Kalamazoo and you'll be able to find us, or use the handle youtube.com/@TheWorldOfFootball. So please spread the word and subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation and donate to Randy's Getting a New Lung Fund. He could greatly use it. He couldn't finish out the podcast, and
I have proof that I've given my blood, sweat, and tears to this podcast.
You're gonna take a picture of that next to your Grey Cup and your championship ring. Man, oh man, what a fight you had over there on the other side of the microphone today.
And remember, folks.
Oh, he's actually going to do it.
Some people may love football more
back.
than we do.
Oh, no.
But nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us. Until next time, when we'll try and do a better job, which never seems to work out, I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm calling the
911.
The coroner's office right now.
And we'll see you all next week.